Welcome back. Today's story is all about family. Do you love your family? Well, this story's for you then. If you hate your family, at least stick around to the end because you'll probably like that part at least. Well, anyway, there's also animals and trucks. Today's story is called Pet Sematary. Today's story is partially about a man named Victor Pascal. He was a student at the University of Maine and he studied electrical engineering. Electrical engineers design electrical equipment such as hair dryers, headphones, and blenders. But none of that really matters because a truck ran over his face. They brought him to the doctor, but he was pretty much dead already. He still had something to say though. First he had to get the doctor's attention. That's better.
Soil of a man's heart is stonier, Lewis.
How did you know my name?
When you're a doctor, you see a little bit of everything. Their doctor's name was Louis Creed, and he just moved to Maine with his family and their cat, Church. Their new home was beautiful. There was a swing and Ellie noticed a path leading into the woods. Gage was flirting with Death and they met their new neighbor Judd. He took the whole family down that path Ellie saw.
There's the place.
What's it say, Mommy?
It says Pet Sematary, honey. It's misspelled, but that's what it says.
It was fun and it was awkward. Now Louis went to bed thinking of Victor Pascal. Little did he know that Victor Pascal was thinking of him too and would pay him a visit that night.
Come on, Doc. We've got places to go.
Now he took Louis to the pet cemetery.
Do not go on to the place where the dead walk.
The barrier was not meant to be crossed.
It's not my fault that you died. You were as good as dead when they brought you in.
So they were kind of talking and catching up. They did so much talking that Louis forgot to wipe his feet. He thought Rachel might like to clean that up. Rachel and the kids went back to Chicago for Thanksgiving, and that was a good thing because of what happened next.
Yep, that's Church all right. I'll bury him in the morning.
Then all of a sudden Judd had a better, less specific idea. But first they'd have to climb over all those branches. Well, wait a minute, Louis, isn't that the place where...
Stop, don't come back.
I guess we'll just have to see how that goes. They climbed and walked until they came to a place with jagged stones all over it, and Judd said this was the spot. The next day, Louis was just thinking about what he was going to tell Ellie about Church when he came back. He was a little more evil, but he was still a rascally kitty. But now Louis had a few questions. Judd told Louis he had taken him to an Indian burial ground that makes things come back to life. When Judd was a boy, he buried his dog Spot there. And just like magic, Spot came back too. Louis asked Judd if anyone had buried a person up there, and Judd said no and knocked over his beer. Later, the Creeds and Judd were enjoying the perfect day. They were having a picnic and the sun was shining. It didn't end well though. Like at a certain point the fun just kind of fizzled out there, and now everyone was sad. Judd thought he'd better have a heart-to-heart with Louis. You see, he hadn't been totally honest with him. Once a man named Bill Baderman buried his son Timmy there. When Timmy came back, he liked going for walks and digging, and he was an abomination too. Judd and his friends decided to help.
He's a monster, Bill! Leave us alone!
Judd and his friends were super thoughtful. Now that Ellie and Rachel were back in Chicago, Louis thought he was still going to try anyway. He had a few errands to run first, then he got right to work.
Gonna stop, Gage. Not gonna be down.
Upsetting the natural order of things is hard work, and Louis collapsed right in bed when he got home. He didn't even hear Gage come in. He was looking for something to play with, and this was just the thing. He hadn't seen Judd for a while, so he popped in for a bit. He wanted to show off his new toy. Then Rachel came home, and she went to Judd's house. Gage played a little joke and pretended to be her dead sister Zelda.
Forget out of bed again! Never get out of bed again! Never get out of bed again!
When he saw his mom's face, he really had a laugh.
I brought you something, Mommy.
Gage had a little something for everyone. Now it was time for Louis to rise and shine. But where was Gage? He wasn't there, but he gave his dad a call.
First I played with Dad, then Mommy came and I played with Mommy. Now I want to play with you.
What did you do?
It sure was nice of Gage to call, but Louis could already tell that this was just not going to work. Sometimes in life we all make mistakes, don't we? Nobody's perfect. That's the only way we learn things, and Louis was going to try to make things right.
Be dead!
So far so good. Louis was off to a great start. It's never too late to make things right. Well, sometimes it is, you know. But you just have to do your best. That boy, Louis. Now that everything was all better, Louis didn't want to leave a mess.
I'm so sorry, but don't make it worse. Don't!
I waited too long with Gage. With Rachel, it will work this time. Because she just died. She just died a little while ago.
Say what you will about Louis, but he had a positive attitude. This one felt like a winner. Then Rachel came back, and for the next 15 seconds, Louis lived happily ever after. The end. Wow, Victor Pascal sure did a great job of trying to help Louis, didn't he? I mean, you could argue it could have went better. I think that's probably fair. You know, but A for effort, right? And we all learn at our own pace, don't we? Speaking of learning, let's see what we learned today. Electrical engineers make all kinds of things. If you're alive someday, you might consider doing that. Making mistakes is how we learn. And a positive attitude is not nothing, but sometimes it's pretty close. If you'd like to die and hopefully come back a good person, this might be a great channel for you. You should like, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and leave a comment. All that stuff would help the channel grow. We really appreciate it. This is Mr. Mike saying, just be yourself. You're the one and only ever special you, so just be yourself. And, you know, guess what? Sometimes dead may be better, but being alive is pretty great. So just remember that if you're doing an abomination or something. So, okay, bye.